The National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union has expressed its anger at President Cyril Ramaphosa's decision to increase the pay of public office bearers. The union says this is happening while government is hell-bent on not paying public servants more. And the country is confronted with record unemployment, extreme poverty and social inequality. For more on this now, Nehawu General Secretary Zola Sapeta joins me from here in Johannesburg. Zola, thank you so much for your time this evening. COSATU has said it was disappointed with the politicians' salary increases and described the move as a, quote, tone-deaf and embarrassing decision. I'm assuming you would agree with that statement.
Good evening to you and your viewers, and certainly we agree with COSATU. In our view, this is just a compensation by President to the categories of government employees who denied public service their constitutional and socio-economic right for not having given the what is due to them. You remember that from the resolution of 2020, were taken to court by cabinet and judges and public office bearers today are benefiting for denying us our right.
The mood amongst your members, this must have had a very negative impact when the news came through of this announcement made by the president of those increases for members of parliament, for the deputy president, for premiers, and the list goes on and on. Describe the mood amongst your members when they heard of this news.
Certainly. You will remember that these are the people who, through approving the budget speech of the Minister of Finance, who have frozen frozen wages, but today they are increasing for themselves. It's hypocritical to them, and that shows a high level of mistrust with the state.
And of course, on top of that, we keep hearing reports and we're seeing it in our day-to-day lives. The cost of living just seems to be going up and up. And as much as government has asked these workers, as part of austerity measures of the last few years, just to buckle down and do their best, it's becoming more and more difficult to keep food on the table. What are your plans now to try and get this point across and push for that pay hike for public servants?
Yes, it's a deliberate agenda to starve public service. Currently, we are in the salary negotiations, and what also guides us as a context in these negotiations is the fact that we have not received anything from 2020, 2021. We got gratuity, what we call a tip, and now government is presenting a zero salary increase. And therefore, in our discussion, we are taking into account of that, and we have rejected what has been tabled, and we are with members, and we are in discussions. We will not take anything that seeks to undermine public service workers, because also we're affected by the standard of living ourselves.
And what kind of timeline are we looking at here? And is there any talk of strike action of some kind if you don't make any progress?
Certainly, we will have to fight for ourselves, and the only form of fighting is when we withdraw our labor. Currently, we are arranging a meeting on Monday through the bargaining council. Employer is presenting, and we will discuss and take whatever the employer will be making back to our members, and our members must give us a mandate in terms of what should be the strategic way forward.
Okay, then I'm sure we'll get an update from you. Thank you so much for your time. Our signal is a little bit iffy there, so I'm going to let you go. Nehawu General Secretary Zola Sapeta speaking to us here from in Johannesburg.